Welcome one, welcome all to my newest Let's Play. As you can tell, Square Enix, Platinum Games. And what's this? A load screen. But judging by the load screen, I think you can tell what it is. If not, you can also look at the video title. It is Nier Automata, the 2017? Wow, really? 17? Is this the first time I'm doing a 2017 game? Well, no, Sonic Mania, I guess. But yep, the 2017 game released by Platinum Games and Square Enix. From the mind of series creator Yoko Taro. Fun fact, you see I have no DLC downloaded. I don't have any of the story DLC, which I guess I'll get into a little bit later, but I did have some of the extra items when I pre-ordered the game. I got a few things, but those are on my old console. This is on my new console. I guess I didn't re-download that when I installed the game. So, we're just going to hop in, brand new save file. No, nothing carries over from the old saves. And I instantly knew what I was going to name this save file. Of course, based on Final Fantasy 13, Lightning, one of my favorite Final Fantasy protagonists. And yeah, we're going to hop in normal mode. I might bump it up to hard mode. I haven't really decided. I played normal my first playthrough. It wasn't too challenging. And so the way I'm doing this, in case you haven't realized, this is post-commentary. This is the first full Let's Play I'm doing where it's post-commentary. This game, to get all the endings, if you could tell from the first save screen, it took me about 30 hours to get, well, about 25 hours to get the first 5 endings, which are the main endings, which is what I'm going to be going for here. So I figured to save on some time, I'll post-commentate, and I'll try not to talk over cutscenes as well. There are subtitles, so sometimes like this, it's just the intro cutscene. I mean, maybe it's the most important cutscene of all, who knows, but yeah, I figured I'd talk over them because there's subtitles. But yeah, I might bump it up to hard mode. I don't want to spend too much time, just dying to random enemies. It's actually kind of hard to die to random enemies, and I'll point that out, why that is, when we get there. But it is what it is. I don't want to extend the game artificially by making it hard on hard mode, but at the same time I do want there to be some kind of challenge, and as we'll see, the equipment system in this game can make this game really easy. But she just got screwed. Rip. This game, okay, so this year I think has been a phenomenal year for the PS4 in particular. We had Persona 4 come out, we had the Yakuza games come out, and we had this. This game is based on, it's a spin-off of the Drakengaard series, if you're not familiar. I'm actually not familiar at all, so I could be completely talking out of my butt right now. But it's based, or it's part of the Drakengaard series spin-off stuff. And it had 2 games prior to this. Well, I guess 1 game technically, but that game in Japan was split into 2 games. So it was Nier, and then in Japan, well, Nier was released in the US in, what, like 2010? But in Japan, it was split into Nier Gestalt, Nier, I'm gonna have to look it up, Nier like Gestalt, I think, and we're post-commentary, so let's just look it up. They have really weird titles, so don't fault me, I can't remember these things. Let's see here. I do have a lot of stuff pulled up, because I'm not gonna remember everything. Let's see, Nier Gestalt and Nier Replicant. Those were 2 versions released in Japan. We only got Nier, the finished product, I guess. I never played those games, so this game it takes place after Nier ends, sometime after that. The events don't necessarily require you to know what happened in Nier, the original game, so going into this blind like I did, it's still a blast to play. Something I will point out, as you'll notice throughout the LP, because I am post-commentating this, there are going to be times where I'm just kind of doing stuff. Sometimes I'll pause because it's kind of like a prompt for me to, talk about whatever it is I'm looking at, which, that's standard fare for post-commentary. Other times, because I'm playing this, I kind of forget that I'm recording it, and I'm just kind of having fun. So like when you're seeing me spinning in circles and running in circles and jumping off of stuff just because I can, that's just because that's what I would do when I'm playing the game regularly. So hopefully it's not too jarring or too annoying. I'm not trying to go for a perfect playthrough, but I'd be lying if I said that too, because I am trying to beat bosses without dying and trying to get through the game as smoothly as possible. almost make it seem like I'm not even playing the game, like it's on autopilot, which, I mean, you can do. If we play it on easy mode, there's an auto attack function, there's auto evade. I've never used it, so I actually don't know how it works, but yeah, I'll show it off later. Or I won't show it off, but I'll show you how it works. There's a bunch of auto items you can equip, and yeah, you can have the game play itself for you. So here I'm trying to show off my slick Star Fox skills. I love this game. What I really want to get into in this part is this game takes no time in shoving you into all of its gameplay styles. And granted, they're kind of evolutions of themselves, so to speak. So right now we've been in like sections. There's a top-down section. There's 3D like twin-stick shooter style sections, though you don't use both sticks. You don't use the right. Well, I guess you do use the right stick to aim, but you shoot with R1. And then there are these side-scrolling sections. So you start the game. If you've never played Nier, you've never seen this, you're thinking, okay, is this what I'm getting into? Well, if you look at the back of the box, no, you get to run around on the ground. But within this first hour, within this first half hour, really, you get exposed to most of the gameplay styles, which I think is a phenomenal way to introduce the player to the game. There's not a whole lot of tutorials. Earlier, you saw, I kept spamming buttons that said, cannot use this, you don't have the permissions to use this action or whatever. And that's pretty much the only time the game restricts you from using certain actions, and that's because they don't want you to get overwhelmed, what's this button do, what's this button do? But getting taught throughout the game how to do certain things is so smooth and seamless. I can't gush over it enough. It's amazing. But here we are introduced to our character, as whom we'll play for most of the game, I'd say. 2B. We'll find out more about her later. Also, keep in mind, I am watching this in a tiny preview window as I'm commentating. So there might be some times that I miss out on some finer details. That's because it's like super small, and I don't really want to make it bigger because, I mean, maybe I'll do it for next episode. I'll make it bigger. Yeah, I'll probably do it for next episode. I don't want to touch anything now because I already started recording. But here I'm showing off the lock-on system. If you press L2 on the default Type A connections, you will lock on to the nearest enemy. And so how that works, you'll see we have Nier, who's running around with the 2 swords on her back, and then her pod, as they're called, who is her long-range companion. He does a lot with like data analysis and, I don't know, locating things, so to speak. He'll also serve as a projector. We'll see later when she's talking to people back in the command center, but he's mainly the long-range attack guy, so to speak, and he's the one who locks on for Nier. So when you're locked on as Nier, or when you're locked on, his shots will automatically home into whoever you're locked onto, but you still have full 360 control of Nier. Granted, the camera is focused on Nier. I'm going to do that on the whole up. Her name's 2B, but I'm going to call her Nier just because that's what's going to happen. But yeah, you have full 3D control of 2B. Now, the camera does lock on to the enemy that the pod's locked onto, but if you want to attack something else, you still have that control. So it's not a hard lock, it's more of a soft lock, which I really appreciate, because if you're getting ganged up on enemies, as we'll see later in this game, you might want to shoot and focus on one of the bigger ones, but you can still, prioritize like the little guys and knocking them back. This is our first boss. This is gonna suck because, okay, I think later in the game you get an piece of equipment that lets you go through every single. It changes the language. As you can tell, the boss has a name, but the language is not. It's not readable because it's like the local language or whatever. So what I'm gonna do here is bring up the boss list. Some of them I might remember the names of, but. Yeah, and I don't even think that's... I'm trying to think. I don't think you get that equipment for a while. So let's see here. I'm going to try to bring this stuff up. This one is... I believe his name is Marks. Which he's... Yeah, this is Marks. He has a pretty simple boss strategy. So you just beat him. Basically, he'll try to grind you up with his little thing. His little gear. And you just keep shooting him and you dodge. And, it's pretty simple. I will say, this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how often I'll upload these. I'm currently working on, well, Sonic Mania is finished. I should finish posting them. Fire Red has started. I'm about episode 7 into that, at least recorded up to this point. And then this is what I'm going to do. I'm recording these in about half-hour spurts, right? So, yes, it shouldn't take as long, or there should be fewer videos, I guess, you know, half-hour spurts to an hour. What's that, like 60 videos, I guess, if I take the same amount of time I do for my first full 5-ending run-through. So assuming it's like 60 videos, half an hour each, I'm going to try to keep them at that because I can get more stuff done. I thought about, this is kind of stupid, I was a little too close, and yeah, you can get hit by stuff like that, which I think is cool. Neat little detail. A lot of things would put an invisible wall there, but you can actually get hit. But I'm going to try to stick to the half-hour video style just because this is a long game. That said, I don't know how far I'm going to upload them because this is going to double the recording time. Usually I record, you know, I record my voice while I record my video, so whereas these videos would normally take just a half hour, if I kept them to half-hour parts, it would take me an hour for every half-hour part. So it's going to be a little interesting. I might do this where it's a Saturday series or a weekend series where I upload 2 episodes on a weekend. So it's like 2 a week or something like that. And Fire Red is what I focus on. But regardless, I am excited to play this game, so I don't think it'll take... I'll have plenty of stuff to upload up to this point, actually. Well, as of the first time recording, I've recorded 3 episodes, so about an hour and a half of stuff. So this should be fun. Now, this section where you're running through the factory, which we will come back here later in the game, so I'm kind of skipping around, just speeding through it. Hold on a second. So this section here, every time I see the running sections, I really want to put Sonic music over it, just because this is like there are these 2D side-scrolling sections, and yeah, I missed that jump. 2D side, and then I'm like, okay, maybe there's something over here. Okay, you're gonna see a lot of indecision, but and I'm like, no, I don't want to fight you guys. I'm going back. I just wanted the items, but there are no items, I don't think, over there. But yeah, so every time I see these side-scrolling sections, I'm like, yo, put in some Sonic music, just because that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. I was actually planning on doing a montage, which I still might do, where I just compile a bunch of different running shots, like just free open running of 2B, and set it to music, Sonic music. I think that'd be kind of funny, but maybe I'll do that a little bit later. I have the footage now, I guess. I don't even know what I was saying. I lost my train of thought, but something, I don't know if we'll see it in this battle. Actually, I'll just wait till we get to that instead of pounding you with information as we play through. But I will say, as far as, okay, soundtrack. Let's start with soundtrack, because we're going to hear a lot of it. I don't think I'm going to put all the song titles in the video, because that just requires a lot. And unlike some games where like there's a certain piece playing for a certain amount of time, this game, depending on the areas you're in, you'll have different song titles. So it's a lot easier if you know what area, and you can kind of just look up the song that way. Also, I think that's cool. I was trying to be a cool guy, and I got shot. Just kind of walking like, yeah, what's up? What's up? I didn't even realize those guys were on the ground. I was like, oh, I'm done. No, I'm not. But yeah, song titles I probably won't put in. But the composers, that's what I want to share with you. So we have Keiichi Okame Keiichi, who his past work includes the other Nier games and some Drakengaard as well. He also worked on Tekken 6, so if you're familiar with Tekken 6, you've probably heard some of Keiichi Okame's work. And the other composer is Oashi Keigo, who he only has Drakengaard 3 and Tekken 6 to his name, as far as I can tell. I'm not familiar with either of those soundtracks, but this soundtrack is beautiful. It is beautiful. It's a soundtrack that I'd want to get on like a CD or a downloadable version, because I would listen to it. I definitely would. A lot of the music I find is atmospheric, and we'll see that when we get to the main hub of the game. But then all kind of the stage themes really fit, and you'll understand what I mean by stage themes as we go through the game. They all kind of fit, because there's the hub world that's just kind of open and vast and expansive, which has its own theme that plays at different points. And then there are these levels like the factory zone where it's very poignant. You know exactly what the aesthetic is supposed to be. So the music fits. What you saw there was a chest. Because this game has multiple playthroughs, you can't get all the items the first time. So these little chests you can open. I'm trying to open them because they're kind of hard to open at times. They're square or cubic, so you can't tell what side's the front sometimes. The icon to open them is circle. It might pop up, but if you're on the wrong side, you won't necessarily open it. So I struggle with that throughout. I most certainly will. Some chests, when you have the circle icon to open it, it'll have an X, meaning you can't open it at this point, and we'll get into how you can open those later. I actually kind of screw up here because I'm like, oh, I'll just go this way, and then I'm like, wait, that's a wall. And I look down, I'm like, well, I can't jump over that because there's an invisible wall over those railings. So I actually turn around and then I come back. I'm going to try to finesse this playthrough as much as possible, and I have a good idea of how to get through a lot of stuff. I will say, the first time I played through this opening scene, which this whole first video, 34 minutes I guess, almost 35, that's the opening scene. This also is the prologue to the game, the demo that came up, if you will, that you could have downloaded, and it was this whole section, which I think is an amazing demo, by the way. First time I played through it, it took me 60 minutes, a full hour. This time, cut that time in half. Okay, the video stopped. That's cool. That's cool. Here we go. I don't know what that was. I mean, it's cool because it's post-commentary. But my video just stopped playing. It started again. I don't know why. It was like something popped up on my computer, so we'll hope that doesn't happen too much. But I'm not doing anything in the background either, so I don't know what's the problem here. And I love that lava. We'll see it again closer up as we run over it, but this game does such a great job with colors. You'll see as we familiarize ourselves with the setting, the color choices they use are phenomenal, and you don't get a lot of these vibrant, deep, glowing colors, but when you do, it's a spectacle to behold. Here I hop into here because there's a little secret area, which if you have the mini-map and you're actually looking at the mini-map, none of these areas are that hard to find because yeah, I just ran around a circle there. None of these areas are that hard to find because it's very clearly delineated on the minimap. Yeah, I ain't got no time for you. Run, run, run. And when these little trailers popped out, guys do hop out of them. I'm like, I don't have time to fight you. I don't want to fight you. Part of the reason I am skipping these fights is because I don't want to be so high leveled that I kind of make the game unfun because I'm just one-shotting and running through pretty much every enemy. So I'm trying to avoid that from happening. I don't want to get caught in that problem, but I will fight, the mandatory fights I will fight. As we go through the game and we start fighting more of the same enemies, because the enemies do get stronger, and even though they look the same, they do get a little bit stronger. Higher level have different attacks. I will either cut them out completely, or I will just kind of avoid the fights, because most of the fights you don't have to fight. Similar to Fire Red, though, because this is an RPG, or an action RPG at heart, you can grind, and certain missions we'll find have recommended levels. So I will. I'll do all the grinding off screen. I don't want to, bore you with just watching me, and I don't want to bore myself with having to rewatch my playthrough of me grinding and commentating over crap that I've already seen. Like, that's no fun for anybody. So I will, cut that out as much as possible. But again, this combat is so fun that you can't really even hate that there's a lot of it. Like, it's the whole draw of the game, obviously, but it's so incredibly enjoyable that I grinded in my first playthrough, and it didn't bother me. I could do it, and I would do it 100 times over. It was that fun. So yeah, as you'll see, when you lose health, your screen will go monochrome. When you get into like the red health, kind of like, I think it's like less than a third or so, which is a cool indicating system because, as we'll find out, 2B and her compatriots are androids, and so because they're humanoid robots, they have these systems, detector systems that humans wouldn't have. So I think it's a neat touch that, oh yeah, you're losing health? Well, let's lose your color identifier, so to speak. And yep, that's the wrong way. And back into the open. We're almost at the end of this. We're actually going to be fighting the first boss soon. Which, honestly, we fight some pretty good bosses throughout this game. But I will say, this is probably one of my favorite bosses. And again, I'm so thankful it was part of the demo. I didn't play the demo, but when I first loaded up this game and I played through it, I'm like, yo, this is the truth. This game is amazing. Because it has so much going for it. So much going for it. I am going to try to comment on story as it happens. The story isn't really too convoluted, I find. Okay, you get the story in a bunch of different parts. Like, the different endings illuminate different things about the story. So with the first ending, even though it has somewhat of a conclusive end to it, when you start the next playthrough of it for the second ending, you get a lot of the a lot of the blanks filled in. So you do, I don't know, it can be kind of tough to understand, but if you are just kind of paying attention throughout the story and throughout each playthrough, it won't be that hard to follow through with. But yeah, this battle music really kind of reminds me of the, I think it's Blinded by Light from Final Fantasy 13. At least the intro, like the drum section does. But this music, I can't. There's no reason to comment because it's just like, go listen to the soundtrack, listen to this. This boss, actually, let me pull up his name. He's kind of like Marks at this point, where he has the drill. We'll see he whips out a second drill. Or not a drill, a gear. I don't even know what you call those bosses. Well, I guess this is still Marks. I say that because we find another boss who, I just realized something. I'll point it. It's not for a while, but I just realized something when I said that out loud. But yeah, we find another boss similar to him, and he has a name that I remember, and we'll get to that when we get to it. But right now, it's pretty much standard fare. He got through his first phase. But again, I love the incorporation of the gameplay styles. That boss we fought on the ground, and then coming up we're gonna shift how we do things. Also the scale, I mean, that thing is a giant, and as we get more into what the machines are and why they're doing what they're doing, I find it fascinating that something created that. Like, that's just insane. It's huge, and from a technical, oh god, I thought my phone was ringing. From a technical standpoint, it's like, okay, one, why can that thing jump so high? He's not Jordan. But two, like, you can almost understand why someone would build that. Because, there it goes again. There goes the video. Okay. I don't know what's happening. It's like my graphics are just stopping or something. The video, whatever. But yeah, it's almost like you see the cranes, you see the smokestacks, you can almost picture that, hey, somebody would use that for something. I mean, he might be a building constructor, he might be a supervisor of sorts, I don't know. But you could see why someone would need something like that. But at the same time, it's like, he's clearly trying to kill me, so. What you'll notice when I dodge with R2, so you have a general dodge that just kind of jets you in any direction that you're holding control stick, and that dodge there is your, I don't know if you'd call it like a sidestep, but it's like an insta dodge. It gives you a moment to react to whatever attack that's incoming. So it saves you by jettisoning, is that a word? You out the way of whatever attack it is, and it allows you to follow up attack. So you'll see it when we attack on smaller enemies, and a lot of times you can do combos into that. So I really appreciate that. The thing is about these controls, I've never played Bayonetta, which that's one of Platinum Games' biggest series. I've never played Bayonetta, I've never played Drakengaard. This plays almost like a beat 'em up in the sense the controls are very intuitive. X is to jump, you have a double jump. Let's see, triangle is your heavy attack, square is your light attack, circle is, what is circle? I think circle is more of a situational button. It's like interact, which makes sense because it's a Japanese-based game, and circle is accept and X is cancel in Japan. It's flip-flops in America. Yeah, circle's like your interactive button, or it actually lets you do certain quick kills, which I'll point out when we get to them. And then you have what? L1 is fire, L2 is lock on, R1 is... No, R1 is fire, L1 is special attack, L2 is lock on, R2 is dodge. It's just very succinct, and you if you played any kind of video game that requires you to press buttons, you could play this game, and that's what I appreciate. Yeah, it can be a little fast-paced if you only play, I don't know, turn-based RPGs. It might not be the most intuitive thing, but if you know how to hold a game controller, you could probably figure out how to play this game. And if not, there's easy mode, and you can let the game play itself. But I love this boss because it's actually longer than a lot of other bosses in the game, and that's why I'm sort of miffed, because you play through it and you're like, oh my god, these bosses are extravagant, I hope every boss is like that. And yeah, not exactly. A lot of bosses do have a lot of these moving parts and segments, but not many are as drawn out as this. I mean, this is a straight up like 15-minute boss fight with cutscenes mid-boss fight that like have nothing to do with the actual boss fight, and we'll see them shortly. So I just think it's a great fight, and there are a couple like that. We'll see one a little while, like a while from now. I love this. As we get more into the game, I'll probably talk about it more because I have lots of time to talk. But the reason why I named this save file Lightning, you'll see it through 2B and 9S, who we just saw fall on top of Mark's there. You see a lot of their relationship and their characters remind me a whole heap of a lot of Lightning and Hope from Final Fantasy 13, and in particular Lightning and Hope from Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 15. Lightning being the calm, stoic, kind of helper, justice-oriented, but I kind of play by my own rules person, whereas Hope is the boy wonder who knows about pretty much everything that could possibly happen, is prepared for every situation, but at the same time his youth and experience is what he lacks, whereas Lightning has that from her time as a soldier. A lot of that's reflected in 2B and 9S respectively. Also the fact that 9S and Hope both have that silvery white hair, and I mean, Lightning's hair isn't exactly like 2B, but it's close, I guess. But yeah, I wanted to go down here because I thought you can get an item, but there's no, you can't get over that stuff, which is weird because it's definitely not too high to jump over. I love this battle theme, by the way. I think it's kind of like the tensions rising type of theme, where it, depending on the fights, when you're in more close combat fights, this is what it plays. I know it plays in at least one other fight where it's close combat. But yeah, I mean, you know my love of Final Fantasy 13. I wanted to play it for the longest time for the channel, but it's so long, and honestly, I'm not good enough at the game to do it justice. Like, watching, especially, okay, I watched HC Bailey's Let's Play, and I can't think how much effort you have to put into a Let's Play like that, because you have to know what you're doing and all the little things that could go wrong, like when, oh, one character dies and you still have half of the boss's health left, or you're trying to grind for that one particular equipment or material that you need to upgrade your sword. You know, that guy put a lot of time and effort into his Let's Plays, and I can't knock him for that, but he has the dedication, and I don't have that for Final Fantasy 13. I love the game. I've never platinumed it. I haven't beaten all the super bosses, but I love the game, and while I'd love to play it one day, I don't think I can swing that. I do apologize because I know I'm not talking much about the story or the cutscenes or anything. But like I said, this is part of the demo, so really you could completely ignore this and it wouldn't have any bearing on anything. I mean, there's one reference to it in the next chapter, so to speak, that relates to the events of this, but after that, you don't exactly have to pay attention to it from a 2B and 9S story standpoint. It's just like, it happened. It's an event that happened, and then, you know, that's that. Okay, so let's see what happened. It looks like, alright, this is gonna suck because my, let's restore it. Okay, my video just shut down. It said my computer doesn't have the capabilities to play this, and that's gonna suck for syncing up this content. Alright, so I'm gonna try to match up where I was. It's post-commentary, thankfully, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm trying to find this boss fight, though. Alright, let's see where my recording is. Oh, that's about perfect. Okay, it's a little bit off, but looks like it ends a few seconds early, so to speak. The endings are going to be super screwed up just because I have to figure out a better way to do this. I might put it on a separate laptop or a separate screen so I'm not recording my voice, but for some reason it just cut out, so my apologies. But this boss, it starts out just a lot of shooting. You can't move forward, it's just you're in the one plane of motion. You can move like 360 degrees, but you can't go into the Z-axis. So up until this point, you kind of get thrown back and you just have to keep shooting at him. This reminds me a lot of Sonic. Sonic Unleash's final boss, where you get knocked back by like ancient Gaia or whatever, and you have to boost your way towards him. It's kind of like the Sonic 3 boss. But you eventually follow 9S's orders, and he hacks into Mark's here, and you wield his own arm against him. Like, that's something you do. That's something that happens, and I think that's amazing. But after a few hits from that, he's down. See, now I'm really pissed about this stupid computer. I've never had problems just playing a video back, but for some reason it doesn't want to do it. And you gotta finish it with an eyeball sword thrust. That's just how every boss needs to finish. Look at that water. That water is beautiful. Slightly annoying because I cut out the intro. I might have to leave the intro. The intro to this video was just me playing, it was me starting the game from the PS4 menu, but now because the video cut and my sound is slightly off, instead of trying to cut stuff to make it fit, I might just leave that in there. Because, yeah, the video just keeps freezing, and I don't know what's going on with that. And of course, you think that was just one boss, but there's more. There's at least 3 of them that are there, in addition to Marks, who we just killed. I think it's kind of dumb how 9S puts his, like, bandana over his eyes and nose. I think that's kind of stupid looking. And here we go, we find out about black boxes, which are what the androids use to, you know, sacrifice themselves in dire straits, so to speak. When they can't win regularly, they use their black boxes, which I think if that's what airplane black boxes look like, that would be kind of dope. Like, those are super high tech looking. I like those. But I think airplane black boxes, or flight recorders for that matter, are like this orangey yellow. They look like a warning sign, basically. But this game has lots of these touching moments, even though they're androids, and I think they say earlier in the game you can't, like, we're not authorized to have emotions, but you know, they do, and you'll see it a lot from 9S in particular. And here we are. This is a pretty interesting scene. We'll go into it more afterwards, but this is the end of the video. Actually, I'll just talk about it next time. I do like that shot of her sitting in the windowsill. It's very human almost, even though she has her little bandana on her eyes. That's going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for joining me. In the next episode, we will continue on from what is called the bunker and see what lies in store for our protagonists 9S and 2B. Have a great day.